Whoa, hey guys, welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. I'm so glad that you decided to join me here on the show. Thanks so much for being here with me. This is Saturday. It's March 14th, 2026. And what Saturday means to us is it actually means that we're starting a brand new master topic. So that's what Saturday means. Saturday is the beginning of our week. Most people's weeks begin on Monday, well, ours begin on Saturday and end on Friday. All right, guys, it is so wonderful to be here with everybody. Without any further ado, I want to take the opportunity to say thank you. And of course, I want to say the words welcome, welcome, welcome. If you've been here many times before, or if this is your very first time, of course, welcome. But if you've been here before, of course, I want to say welcome back. And thanks for making inspirations for your life a daily part of your day and helping you become a better version of yourself. If you haven't checked out believemeachieve.com, what are you waiting for? Go check that out. That is after the show is over. Not now, but after the show is over. So you can check that out. And I think you will really find that to be amazing. Short form content, long form content, and reels, articles, and so much more. So, if you're thirsty, feel free to go grab yourself something. If not, that's fine too. Maybe you want a snack. That could be what you want, right? I think a lot of people, today don't realize sometimes what happens or how we can make things bigger, how we can make things better in our lives. And I know a lot of you are saying to me, "Hey, John, I get it, but for some reason, this doesn't make sense or whatever," right? So we're going to go through some things tonight. This is a great show. Without any further ado, guys, I'm going to go ahead and kick this show off. Are you ready? I know that I am. All right, everyone. So, welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. I'm John Seymour, a serial entrepreneur, engineer, marketing specialist, video producer, podcast host, coach, keynote speaker, graduate student, and a passionate lifelong learner. Yes, and pretty soon a published author. This week, I'm talking all about something very interesting, the master topic of seeing clearly. And we're not just talking about our eyes, although that's what most people think it is. There's more to seeing clearly to a situation. When your vision sharpens, your decisions improve. When your awareness grows, your direction becomes stronger. And when you learn to look deeper, you begin to understand things that others, well, completely miss. Many people move through life reacting to what they see on the surface. They judge quickly, they assume quickly, they decide quickly, they decide wrong. But surface level thinking often leads to surface level results. So strong lives are built differently. They're built when awareness replaces assumption. Now, we've talked about the word awareness before. This is not our very first time mentioning the word awareness. But I think awareness can be something that gets us to be where we want to be, right? I think that's a very important thing to understand. And I know a lot of you out there are saying to me, "Hey, John, like I don't get this. I don't get that." And so an awareness is a quiet understanding of where you are and where you're going. Now, the awareness and the assumption that I'm talking about is built when patience replaces impulse. When you go to the store and there's that rack and you want to buy everything on it at the register, it's that impulse, right? And the thing about it is they are built when intentional choices replace drifting through life. And when we replace the drifting, we become a better version of ourselves. So today's episode talks about some very interesting things because one of the greatest life skills you can develop is the ability to see deeper when You want to be more immediately connected to what's visible. So let's dive right into the topics. All right. Number one, appearances rarely reveal the truth. You've heard the old saying, you can't judge a book by its cover, and those that do are doomed for failure. I think truth lights people's eyes up. But what truth doesn't do is it doesn't always give you an immediate answer. It sometimes gives you more questions. Now, what you see first is rarely the entire picture. People, opportunities, and situations almost always have more depth than what appears on the surface, right? You might have also heard the phrase before when we say, we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. We're seeing the entire thing that actually goes uh, down below. And we're seeing just the top. All right, just the top. Number two, guys, real strength is often quiet. It's often quiet. The strongest people rarely need to prove themselves. They move in a calm, confidence way because their strength is internal. And that internal strength is not only their guidance, but it is their way of life. Number three, guys, character matters more than image. So, image is important, guys. Don't get me wrong, but your character is important, who you are. Image can attract an attention, okay? Character has the ability to earn respect for it. Over time, character always wins. And your character is what you do when people are around and when people are not around. So what people do when they see you and people do when they can't see you. I think that's a very important thing. And so these are real keen things, guys. Number four, true potential is not always obvious. It's not always obvious. Some of the most capable people are overlooked simply because they're not trying to impress anyone. They're not trying. And they're oftentimes the most interesting. Number five, depth beats surface every time. When we can go below the tip of the iceberg and we can get to the depth of the iceberg, or we can get to the depth of the challenge, or the relationship, or the person, that's what's exciting. Quick impressions might feel convenient, but true depth creates real understanding. People that are sincere will stay when there's depth. It'll attract them. People that are superficial will run for the hills when depth tries to share its head. Number six, guys, inner strength shapes outer results. So your mindset, discipline, and your resilience determine the outcomes you create. Real value, often, number seven, grows unseen. And growth is usually quiet before it becomes visible. No one pays attention to growth when it's quiet. But it's that quietness that gets it its edge, that gets it the ability to have altitude and take off. Success often begins long before anyone notices it. And that's not a bad thing. People all come around when there's something to notice, but the real treasure has happened days, weeks, months, or maybe years before. Number eight, guys, substance outlasts style. Style's pretty cool. Style may capture someone's attention for a brief moment, but substance builds lasting influence. Substance. Substance is based on truth. That's interesting. So quiet effort builds lasting impact, guys. Quiet effort builds lasting impact. Not the noisy effort, not the kind where you have to let everybody know what you're doing. And the work you do consistently, even when nobody is watching, is the work that builds your future. It's what builds legacies. It's what builds epiphanies. It's what builds your miracles. Number 10, guys, what matters most is often invisible. What's that, John? Integrity, discipline, vision, resilience. Integrity, discipline, vision, resilience. Integrity, discipline, vision, and resilience. These four qualities shape lives, yet they cannot always be seen immediately. No, but they're quietly being molded and forming in the background while no one else is watching or noticing. Number 11, guys, strong character develops over time. Don't try to rush your character overnight. Character is built through choices repeated day after day. The choices that you make define the character you are and who you're becoming. Those are powerful words, guys. Number 12, people are deeper than their labels. Labels don't really matter, but sometimes people give others labels. Sometimes people live up to a label, and that label might actually be diminishing their character. Never reduce someone to a single label or an assumption. Not only is it a bad thing to do and it's rude, but it also might stifle that person and get them to be limited to just that. Every person carries experience, potential, and perspective. Every person's a human being. We should treat others the way we want to be treated. The golden rule, right? Number 13, guys, hidden preparation creates visible success. Wow, guys, these are very, very powerful tonight, aren't they? Yeah, these are very powerful. When success finally appears, people often call it luck. In reality, is preparation meeting opportunity. How long do I have to prepare? What I want to say to you is don't think about how long you have to prepare. Just think about being consistent until preparing just becomes autonomous. Number 14, guys. The obvious choice is not always the right one. I've said something to you before many times. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. Sometimes the path that looks easiest leads to the weakest outcome. And that could be sad for people. Very sad. Number 15, guys. Real influence begins within you, within your core. Before you influence the world, you must first lead yourself. If you cannot lead yourself in your life, how are you ever going to influence other people? Number 16, surface impressions can mislead. Right? That quick assumption of, don't judge a book by its cover. Quick judgments can cause us to overlook talent, ideas, and opportunities. Sometimes we're quick because another person says, oh, we don't have the time. What I've found that when people do that, the person has the time, but the person that wants them to move ahead doesn't. And that's not fair to the other person. Number 17, guys, depth creates durability, DCD. Shallow foundations collapse under pressure. I don't care whether we're talking about a house that's not built with the right structure or building, or a relationship that's built on a facade. Strong foundations survive the storms. If you're becoming friends with somebody because of what they can do for you, and there isn't a true bond, that friendship's gonna fizzle once it's evident that there is no commonality. Number 18, guys. True strength requires patience. Patience is not an easy thing to have or to expect from others, especially when a lot of people are anxious for success or anxious for an outcome. But again, true strength requires patience. Things will happen in good time. Divine timing, right? That's a popular one we hear from our creator. Patience is not weakness, guys. It is a controlled strength that we need to learn how to deal with. The quicker that we develop patience, the better we are. But I don't say you have to do it quickly. I just mean that if you don't take it seriously, you're going to take forever and you're going to get disappointed because you haven't developed patience. Don't rush developing patience. But the quicker that you are able to do it in a slow manner, the better your life will be. Number 19, guys. Integrity becomes visible through actions. Integrity becomes visible through actions. Integrity becomes visible through actions. Integrity is not what people claim. It is what their actions reveal. You're not who you say you are. You are who your actions are eliciting you to be. One of the things I said a long time ago is when we talk about what we say, how we say it, and what we don't say. The most important thing in life comes from what we don't say, our actions. The next most important thing is how we say something. And the third thing is what we say. So what we say is not the most important thing, guys. Nope. It's not the most important thing. Interesting. Number 20, guys. Hidden growth builds strong futures. Hidden growth builds strong futures. The improvements you make quietly today build the opportunities you experience tomorrow. They get you to experience greatness. They get you to experience the miracles in your life that you want to happen. Miracles aren't magic. They happen by strategic planning. They happen by our persistence, our consistency, our dedication, our integrity. Number 21, guys. Real leaders, they grow quietly first. Remember, leaders are not born, they are made. Leadership begins internally with discipline, responsibility, and awareness. What did I learn to become a leader first? Scouting. When I was at scouting, it was just the Boy Scouts. Now, because of, well, legal paperwork, they had to allow everyone into scouting. But the Boy Scouts, when I was involved, was about teaching a guy to develop the faculties in his mind and in his body to be well-rounded. When you hear today, he's an Eagle Scout. That's so amazingly good to hear. But there are not hundreds of Eagle Scouts coming out every day. Being an Eagle Scout is not easy. But when you become an Eagle, you're a well-rounded person. You learn things such as humanities. You learn uh, um, the different badges like citizenship. You learn a lot of things in scouting, archery, shooting. You become well rounded. You learn how to whittle with your knife. I remember the very first time that I wanted to whittle, I was told I couldn't. So, what do you mean I can't? I said, I got this as a birthday gift. You can't whittle. Why not? So I was making a joke. I said, not even a whittle? Little, whittle, not even a whittle? No. Uh, they said, no, it's you don't have a totemship card. I said, I have a citizenship card. No, you don't have a totemship card. You have to go through a class, and that requires proper use of the knife, proper use of an axe. It's about safety. You might have learned many years ago that before you could transport a pair of scissors, somebody showed you the proper way to carry scissors, right? You never carry scissors with the point out, right? You carry them so the point is in and you're walking like this with the scissors in your hand. So if you don't use a knife or an axe properly, you get a point taken off your card. And you also have to learn how to manage fire and firearms, like fires, not so much guns, but like a fire, making a fire, etc. So you did something wrong, they chipped one corner off your card. If you lost all four corners, you had to forfeit your totemship card. And luckily, I never lost my card, and I never lost a point on my card. I took totemship very seriously for me and for the other scouts. Responsibility, awareness, discipline. That's what scouting does. And of course, leadership to pass it on to others. Number 22, guys, what develops slowly often lasts longer. Fast results may feel exciting at the moment, but slow growth often builds, guys, the strongest foundations possible. Think about plaster Paris, right? If you don't let plaster Paris settle and set for too long, it doesn't get fully hard, right? If you don't let glue dry properly, even these different types of glue that are like crazy glue lost their patent. So now I think there's a new one called gorilla glue. If you don't let them set even the short amount of time, then they're not going to work. Number 23, guys, look deeper before deciding. The more carefully you observe, the better your decisions will become. Number 24, lasting strength grows internally. Confidence that depends on outside validation, it's fragile. Real confidence comes from within you. Number 25, quick judgments cause us to miss the deeper truth. The fastest decision is not always the smartest decision, even though people make the fast ones all the time. Number 26, guys, hidden excellence deserves recognition. Many people doing extraordinary work remain unnoticed simply because they are focused on the work itself. They're not focused on the value, on the integrity, on the quality, or the responsibility they need to have while doing that work. Number 27, character builds confidence. Character also builds your leadership. Confidence that comes from discipline and integrity cannot easily be shaken. No one can take that from you. You don't become a leader because of people patting you on the back. You become a leader by learning what works and what doesn't and how the other people respond. But it's not by giving you a pat on your back, it's by you recognizing how your awareness, how your uh, discipline, how your skills like listening and communication can transform another person's life. Number 28, guys, quiet discipline creates the power. Not the guy with the big megaphone, right? That's not leadership. I'm not saying leaders don't use a megaphone, but that megaphone does not make a person a leader. If you do, you don't understand the definition of leadership. The habits you repeat daily become the foundation of your strength. Number 29, guys. Inner strength guides decisions in our lives. When you value and you see the core values are clear, the decisions you make will become easier. They'll become like pattern recognition. Number 30, guys. Learn to see beyond the surface. This may be one of the most valuable life skills you can develop. If you don't see beyond the surface, go explore. Maybe the surface is not inevitably visible. Because when you learn to look deeper, you begin to notice opportunities others overlook. You recognize potentials others ignore, and you make decisions with true clarity rather than assumption. Seeing clearly is not just about observation, guys. We've learned that today. It's about awareness, it's about a wisdom, and it's about the discipline to slow down long enough to understand what is truly happening. As you move forward this week, challenge yourself to look deeper, look at people, look deeper at opportunities, look deeper at your own potential. Because sometimes the greatest possibilities are just beneath the surface. And the moment you learn to see them, your life begins to change. This has been Inspirations for Your Life. Be sure to check out believemeachieve.com. And I'm reminding you here that the more clearly you see, the more powerfully you can live an amazing, powerful life. Until next time, let's keep staying inspired. Be well, everyone.